Okay, sure. And always, Bob, always say if you don't want to answer it, just say Fred, hang up. All right, we hang up. We go to the next person. Deal? Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
We got
Yeah.
Reg.
Okay.
We got Reggie Owens coming in. Here we go, Reg. What's up, Reg?
Yes, indeed. What's up? What's up, Fred? What's up, Bob? Happy birthday to you.
Thank you very much, man.
All right, Bob. Man, I got just quick questions. As it relates, because I hear you make a lot of I don't know if it's complaints or statements about what the PBC isn't doing for as far as boxing and the loss of money. But when it comes down to things like with the rise of UFC, that was during the top rank kind of reign period. What did top rank do wrong during that time period? Where did you guys lose your way to where boxing became kind of a laughing stock of combat sports and the UFC rose to power during that time period? Where do you think you guys went wrong and where do you hold your company at fault for that?
Well, I think a big problem was uh, that, as you remember, because the premium television networks like HBO and Showtime uh, paid uh, much more money than the networks who had to be supported by advertisers were willing to pay, that just about everything good went on uh, the premium networks. And then we started putting everything that was a little bit better than good on pay per view. So what happened was we were doing good money on pay per view, but even a successful pay per view does what, 1 million homes if it's very successful,
Sure.
and that's a small portion of the audience. Meanwhile, UFC was doing their shows uh, on. Uh, they had a uh, uh, network cable television. Well, I forget the name of the outfit that was doing all of their shows, and then they went over and did them at Fox, uh, and that's exposure. And we got away from that because we couldn't afford to do the fights with the networks. We had to do them on premium television with the small audience, and then to make big money for fighters and for everybody on pay per view. And too many damn fights went on pay per view, and our audience kept eroding.
Hmm.
That's what happened. That's what happened. And a UFC was able to market their product far better than we were.
Okay, you wanna go ahead, Reg?
And so my follow up behind that, where you bring up about the PBC and some of their fighters about what they can't pull in, but when you look across the landscape, PBC fighters doing as far as financials, personal financials, future wealth and the ability to provide for themselves to be much greater than what's coming from top ranked fighters and as well from UFC fighters. How is the PBC able to go about paying their fighters as well as they're paying them? And that's not just for you.
That, hold it 1 second. The UFC fighters, because the U are not don't get the benefit of the Muhammad Ali Act. Uh, Muhammad Ali Act means that fight promoters have to show fighters how much they're making on the event and what the fighters are getting. In UFC, they're not subject to the Muhammad Ali Act, and so therefore their fighters proportionally don't get paid very well. But the top ranked fighters, uh, by and large, are major fighters, and we have in the pound for pound ratings, 6 or 7 out of the top 10 guys make more, as much or more than the PBC fighters. There was a particular point in time when PBC first started when they had this hedge fund pot of money, $500 million. And at that point, PBC fighters were getting paid a lot more than other fighters. But in the last 3 years since we've been connected with ESPN, that has not been the case. That has not been the case. Errol Spence, for example, on pay-per-view, got $4.5 million, $4 million on Saturday. And Crawford got more fighting on ESPN. And also, look at top-ranked fighters fight 2 and 3 times a year, and look at PBC fighters; they fight once a year. And that's no way to build up a following and build up a career. Once a year.
Get to the next call, right?
Yeah. Let me get this one, and I'm out of here.
Okay.
When it comes down to the face of boxing, because for a while we had where Europeans were viewed as the next great thing in boxing, and that kind of didn't really, mature into anything. It really didn't take place to where they became the big stars of where boxing shifted. And it was always this, falsified claim about black fighters not being able to sell. How do you feel about that whole myth being busted and a reversal of what many people within boxing, the powers that be, of speaking about black fighters not being able to sell? And now when you look across the landscape, the black fighters are the one who carry the sports. What are your thoughts on that? And I'm back in the chat.
Well, my thoughts